That's it guys, another Kengan tournament is over with a new champion. The final between Galang and Kanoh has concluded, and the winner of this almighty rematch left people either enraged, disappointed, or maybe even hyped with this entire redemption arc for a certain character. Therefore, the winner was the one and only fifth Fang of Metsudo, Kanoh Agito, defeating Galang once again in the rematch. On top of that, we got more revealed about Kanoh's flashback in regard to his connection to the almighty and villainous Tiger Nico, alongside many more things to go over in regards to the future of Kengan Omega. So the first thing we need to talk about is Kanoh winning this entire tournament, making it seem like Sandro kinda regretted making him lose against Jirota, at least to me based on everything we've seen, as if you don't remember, prior to the reveal of this tournament even occurring, we had Kanoh and Jirota fight, and that's the fight where we were told that the winner of that would be entered into this real champion tournament. And as you know, Jirota ended up winning that spot. However, when it came to the beginning of the tournament with the reveal of the fighters, Kanoh just appeared as a fighter anyway, making that whole plot point for their prior fight pretty much pointless. Then in this real champion tournament, Kanoh, I guess, had the hardest bracket. Round 1 facing the likes of Julius, round 2 facing Lo Long, and then in the final against Galang, defeating all three of them. Prior to this, after his defeat by the hands of Jirota, Kanoh stocks by the fandom's perspective were quite low, particularly as right after that defeat, he pulled up alongside Kuroki and Lo Long against the Worm, with him being the one to clash with Yan, which was a very short exchange, but for what we got, it did portray Yan as far superior, as he wasn't even solely concentrating on fighting Kanoh, more so worried about the Shen and Kuroki fight, and trying to work out who betrayed them rather than putting all of his attention on Kanoh, who was unable to land any damage on Yan throughout that. And with him defeating Galang here and Yan watching this, he said this about Kanoh in the most recent chapter. I would have done the same thing if I were Galang. He did the best he could. But Kanoh forced an opponent of Galang's caliber to play by his own rules. Kanoh Agito, I apologize for my contempt of you. So Yan is indeed respecting Kanoh and his evolution throughout this tournament. As a reminder, all these characters outright just got stronger. Every relevant Kengan character right now in Omega is progressively getting stronger and stronger, catching up to the caliber Shen Wulong has introduced to the story. But coming back to the actual defeat and fight itself, Galang losing is very hard to see. Yes, he defeated Jirota throughout this tournament, which is a huge upgrade for Galang, at least to many people. The Justin fight was whatever, Galang was the expected winner, but losing against Kanoh again in this rematch, with this being the tournament where Galang had the best opportunity to make this crazy upset, was pretty hard to see. Alongside many people's biggest issue with this, his elbow actually breaking in the way it did. You can even compare this to their first fight and how an elbow was used to counter Galang in that whole exchange, alongside Galang literally being the resident Muay Thai master in the series. He's not just the professional boxer, he's also the pinnacle of Muay Thai. So wouldn't that mean the conditioning of his elbow would be considered top tier and wouldn't break from landing this type of attack on what it seems like Kanoh's face? That is personally my biggest issue writing wise with this entire fight, alongside Kanoh just pretty much only using the dragon shot. He is a character with one of the widest arsenals in the entire series, but this entire fight was mostly just dragon shot spam one after another. All the fights were pretty much that. We got to see some evolution kinda when it comes to his formless, but nothing insanely new for Kanoh. And when speaking about the formless, the fact that Galang used it in some type of way during this fight was very wacky to a lot of people, particularly when it comes to his writing and how Galang is meant to be the striking dude and everything in regards to that. So writing wise, Sandrovich kinda had a lot of issues with this entire tournament, that is without a doubt. This chapter and fight as a standalone was very enjoyable, particularly this chapter with us not really knowing who won until the final panels, but still, on reflection with everything else we've learned in Kengan and in context of the story, it had quite a number of issues that needs to be pointed out. And no, this isn't because I have some type of bias towards Galang. When it comes to my top 3 favorite characters in all of Kengan, number 1 is Kure Ryan, number 2 is Galang, and number 3 is Kanoh. And the fact that Kanoh 1 doesn't really bother me at all. He is portrayed as stronger narratively and at every point prior to this, so him winning does make the most sense. Yes, it could have gone either way, and right now if I were to make a tier list, I would be ranking Galang and Kanoh still on the same tier, likewise with Dorota and Lo Long, but Kanoh would just be above all of them based on his performance in this tournament, which I'm guessing every one of you could agree with. Which means the Fang of Metsudo is back on top, his mini redemption arc is over. The only characters that could potentially defeat him part of the Kengan Association is Tokita Oma, Kure Ryan and Kuroki Gensai, with some of the other worms still being ranked above him such as Gilbert Wu and Shen Wulong and maybe some others depending on your argumentation. But Kanoh is still without a doubt a top tier, and that was made clear with him winning this entire tournament. Now before I go over the potential future of Omega and some of the other important things we learnt about the Fang, make sure to check out Mysterious Chad, the second channel that has various bonus Kengan content for you guys to enjoy, link in the description. So in this chapter we got to see Kanoh meeting the Tiger Nico for the first time, and after going through the training in the Nico style, Kanoh almost considered Nico a father, at least until he was put into the Goo ritual where he had to kill all of his friends to survive, that resulted in the demonic smile or two sides of Kanoh we've learnt about throughout Kengan. The reveal of this complete flashback and where Kanoh actually came from does potentially build up the likelihood of Kanoh being the one to fight Nico in the future as more possible. Prior to this, we were aware of this connection, but the future matchup of Oma being the one to take out Nico was the more agreed on outcome considering their insane connection. But maybe Oma will be fighting someone else and Kanoh's big fight at the end of the story would be against the Tiger Nico. That is always a possibility, particularly when you compare Kanoh's reaction to his return during the Purgatory tournament to even the likes of Oma, with Kanoh potentially being even more triggered. So we'll have to wait and see the outcome of that. And something that's been made clear without a doubt is that Kanoh is still one of the most relevant characters in Omega, getting the most shine in the entire story so far, potentially even more than the technical protagonists Koga and Roki. I wonder where they are. But thanks for watching, shout out to these members, the Mad Lads. That's it guys, peace.